Hello, my name is Risho Kechwi, and welcome to this series of Mindset Kabanga educator videos for Grade 5 Technology. In the previous episode, we saw a teacher starting a technology project with her learners. Today, we will look at how this develops by focusing on the investigation skills of a technology project. But first, let's look at the NCS curriculum in a little more detail to see how they can be incorporated into a technology project. Here's a diagram that summarizes the NCS for technology. We have 3 outcomes: technology processes and skills, or LO1, use technology knowledge, or LO2, science, technology and society, or LO3. Each outcome has a set of assessment standards to go with it. Learning outcome 1. By far, the most assessment standards are found in learning outcome 1. A key feature of technology is that the skills are most important. These skills are investigating, designing, making, evaluating, and communicating. Learning outcome 2 is where you find technology knowledge assessment standards. These are 3 knowledge areas in technology. They are structures, processing, and systems and control. But the NCS makes it clear that we should not teach these knowledge areas as facts to learn. The learners should learn them because we have chosen projects carefully. The projects create the need to learn this knowledge. You will see these learners doing a project on structures, even though the context is keeping chickens. Learning outcome 3. The third outcome is about values and attitudes. It encourages learners to look critically at how technology can fit into our world. There are 3 assessment standards here. The Indigenous Technology Assessment Standards asks whether learners can see and value contributions from our own past and see the clever ways that all cultures have used technology to satisfy their needs. Impacts of technology asks whether learners view both positive and negative consequences of technology with a critical eye and an open mind. Bias in technology asks whether learners are developing an awareness of bias in the technological solutions. They come up with a sense of how to be inclusive. So, keeping this in mind, let's see how Chicken Homes project develop in the classroom.
We're going to start our new lesson where we'll investigate how hens lay eggs and hatch them. If you can go to page 22 of your books, please. Okay, in a natural environment, the hen will lay the eggs in spring and in summer, not in winter. Okay, and these eggs need to be fertilized. The eggs are fertilized when a rooster and a hen mate. If you can all look at my poster there. What do you think is happening in that poster? Yes, Masha?
The rooster and the hen are mating.
Good, the rooster and the hen are mating. What is the rooster? Pumeza?
A male chicken.
A male chicken. What is a hen? Yes, Pumeza?
A female chicken.
A female chicken. What is reproduction? Yes, Lumkisa?
Is having babies.
It is having babies. We've done that in science, didn't we?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Now I want us to look at our exercise books. Do you see that sentence there? We are going to complete that sentence using those words. We have sperm, we have mate, and we have fertilizers.
The rooster.
Anele, you're going to read the sentence out for us.
When the rooster and the hen met, sperm from the rooster fertilize the ova in the hen.
Very good, Anele. Farmers say that we need 1 male rooster for every 5 hens. Now I want you to tell us as people, how many males do we need for reproduction?
1 male.
1 male, and how many females? Charlene?
1.
1 female. Yes, Charlene?
Why don't when we buy the egg from the supermarket, we don't find the chicken inside?
Good question. She's asking, why don't you get chickens inside the eggs from the eggs that you buy from the supermarket? That's because the eggs need to be fertilized first. Let's move on. If Linda had only hens, will the eggs grow to baby chicks? Yes, Buitumelo?
No, ma'am.
No, they wouldn't grow to baby chicks. We need what?
A rooster.
Yes, we need a rooster. Now I want everybody to look at figure 1, please. Point at figure 1 in your books. What do you see in figure 1? Yes, Tapelo?
A hen sitting on a nesting laying eggs.
A hen sitting on a nest laying eggs. Okay. Now this is what happens. A hen is going to lay eggs daily, every day, until she is broody. When the hen is broody, she's going to sit on the eggs. Okay?
Yes.
How do you know if a hen is broody? My friend Chala Pezo Matan, who can tell us? Yes, Elizwe, can you explain?
Yaka.
Good. She says it makes some sounds. Can you make the sound for us, please, Buitumelo? Very good. That's exactly how it happens. Okay. Now I want you to look at figure 2. What is happening in figure 2? Yes, Lumkisa?
The chicken is turning the eggs for the yolk to stay in the middle.
Wonderful. The chicken is turning the eggs so that the yolk can stay in the middle. Question time. How many eggs does the hen lay in 1 day? Yes, Lolo?
1.
1 egg. Very good. Why does the hen turn the eggs? Professor? Very good. For the yolk to be in the middle. Why does the farmer take away the eggs from the nest? Yes, Fatwa?
To put them in a cool place. No water matsalangavi.
Very good. To put them in a cool place, and he also says that so that the baby chicks cannot start to grow yet. Very good. Now I want you to listen, because I'm going to ask you questions again. When the hen is broody, the hen sits on the eggs for 21 days before the baby chicks can start to hatch. Why do you think the hen sits on the eggs?
So that the eggs must be warm.
Wonderful. So that the eggs must be warm. Now we have seen that for baby chicks to be hatched, they need warmth, a place, and to be protected.
Today in studio with me is Tembeka Qipu, who you'll recognize as a teacher from the classroom insert. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Great stuff. The insert we've just seen, that looks like a science lesson.
Yes. In technology, there's a lot of science involved. This is how we deal with the knowledge. We need to establish the knowledge, but we use the science as a background. So now, how do we do that? We establish a need, which in this case will be the place for the chicken homes. And that leads us to how the chickens grow and how they reproduce.
You know, I saw you reminding the children that they need to build a chicken home. Were you deliberately trying to make the knowledge relevant to the project?
Very much so. Learners need to be reminded in technology of why they are doing the project. And I wanted them to have the feeling that they need the knowledge for them to do the project. Because if you do that, they tend to know the importance of the knowledge as the background.
Let's look at the next part of this process.
We have investigated how the hens lay eggs and hatch the eggs, didn't we? Yes, ma'am. Now we're going to look at the different places that we need for the hens to raise their baby chicks. If you can turn to page 24, please. In figure 1 there, how many hen houses do we have? 3. We have 3 hen houses. I'm going to give you 3 3 minutes in your groups to look at each house. Tell me the good and the bad thing about each house. Okay? Let's do it.
You cannot have food and water at the same time. There is only one dish.
We only have one fowl. And the chicken can move around.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Time up, guys. So this group is going to do the place number 1. Okay, who's going to do it? Slindile, okay.
This one is protected, but the chicken cannot exercise.
The chicken cannot exercise. Very good. Then the second one, let's have this group tell us about the second one. Fatuan.
The second one is good because the rain cannot get in, and it's bad because it's not protected. The jackals can take their eggs.
Very good. Now who's going to tell us about the third place? Yes, Lumkisa?
The third place is safe because the jackals can get in, and the place where the eggs can be laid.
As you know, in technology, you make things to solve the problem, but you still need to find out more information about the problem. So now Linda has gone to an expert farmer, a person who specializes in chicken farming, to ask some questions. Okay, if you look at figure 2, please, what do you see there? Charlene?
Outside fence.
She sees a yard with a fence. That's one of the places that the farmer has told Linda about for the chickens, the outside yard, so that they can exercise, drink and eat in the outside yard. He also said that the outside yard is covered with wood shavings and leaves, dry leaves, so that it cannot be wet and it can be warm. Let's move to figure 3, please. What do you see there? Lolo, what's in figure 3?
A patch.
She sees a patch. What else? Philip?
Inside shelter.
The shelter. Okay. What else do you see? John?
Chickens.
The chicken. Okay. Now that is the second place that Linda is going to need for her chickens. That is called the inside shelter. In the inside shelter, the chickens sleep and rest. If you can see, there's something like a rod there where the chicken is standing on. Can you see?
Yes.
That is called a patch. That is where the chickens sleep on. Okay, let's look at figure 4. What do you see in figure 4? Yes, Tanya?
I can see chickens and a nesting place.
Chickens and nesting place. That's the third area that Linda is going to need for her chickens. The nesting place. The nesting place is where the hens lay the eggs, where the hens turn the eggs, and where the hen sit on the eggs so that they can hatch. So it needs to be warm. Okay. Now I want you to tell me the needs for the chicken. What do they need space for? Starting from number 1. Yes, Elizabeth?
Exercise.
Good. The space to exercise and to move around. Another space they need is for? Yes, Kulego?
To lay their eggs.
Good. To lay the eggs. Another space? They need space for what?
To need a space to drink the water.
Excellent. The space to drink the water. We have looked at the different areas that the chicken home is going to need. What I want you to do now as homework, I want you to go home, look at the places where chickens are kept, or the beds, places like the cages, then you bring me the pictures. If you don't get the pictures, please, you draw the sketches for those places, okay?
What were you trying to do in that investigation? You used a book to speak for an experienced farmer.
There I was showing the learners that they need some advice from the expert, from the people who know better, because later on in technology, they have to make their own surveys for the information.
And the pictures seem to give the learners an idea of what they might do.
Yeah, learners need a concrete example of what is expected from them. You see, in technology, we don't just invent from nothing. We start from the existing structures and the possibilities. Then we make that better.
I see that you also asked your learners to go look for chicken structures outside of the classroom.
Yeah, we also link what we learn in the classroom with the outside of the classroom, so that learners can relate what they learn to their real life. That makes it better. The pictures, though they are a poor example, but at least they give the same idea as the real chicken homes would.
Thank you very much, Tembeka. I saw your classroom. It looks very exciting and a lot of fun. Thank you very much for coming.
It was a pleasure.
Today we saw technology investigations. Next time, we'll start to look at the designing and making skills in technology. Here's something for you to think about. Technology has 3 learning outcomes, but each learning outcome has 3 or more assessment standards. What is the purpose of those assessment standards? Can you recall the assessment standards for each learning outcome? You'll find them in your copy of the NCS and in the Technology for All Teachers book. Till next time, from me, Rishoke Jumola. Goodbye.